Is a reunion with Paul Goldschmidt in our future? Well, some of you know how I feel about that. We're going to be talking about that as well as the rebound the farm system has accomplished and which cities in Major League Baseball we want to see, or which cities we want to see added to Major League Baseball. All of this in 30 seconds. Don't you go anywhere. And welcome in to another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. I am your mayor of PHNX, occasionally known as Derek Montilla, and I am thrilled to have you guys here for somewhat of an impromptu noon show. Diamondbacks don't really have any days off this week, and I apparently don't take days off from building crap around this office, as you might have seen on our video. We got our sweet baby boy Noah on the ones and twos today. Noah, how are you on this fine Wednesday?
I'm wonderful, my friend.
Excellent.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Not as good as your Detroit Tigers. I wish we were, though. I will say Moon Mammoths forever, in case you guys didn't see the hat. And I will also let you guys know that this show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Make sure to download that Bet365 app. Use our code of PHNX365 as a new customer. You'll get yourself some bonus bets by following a few easy steps. Over at Game Time, use our code of PHNX on your first purchase. You'll get $20 off that purchase. Today is a weird day. Like I said, the Diamondbacks have this weird 4-game schedule against the Milwaukee Brewers. And quite frankly, after losing the first 2 games, I wasn't in the mood to do another post-game show. Noah and Shane have a very important basketball game tonight that both of them they needed to attend to. You got our guy Damon Dog needs the day off, as does Kevin Thomas, because college football season is here. And someone had to build the riser. Someone had to come into the office and put in some time doing some construction work around here. So that's where we stand on this Wednesday. But of course, another good thing here is where the Diamondbacks currently are at least for the future. We're going to talk about the farm system and where it ranks now versus where it ranked at the beginning of the season. ESPN updated their prospect rankings. And we're also going to talk about which cities in Major League Baseball, or which, again, I'm messing that up, which cities we want to see added to Major League Baseball. Joey Millsap said Derek not beating the allegations. This is a Los Angeles WWE Raw shirt, if that makes any difference. The allegations that they're talking about, Noah, are those that I am secretly a Dodgers fan, which I can't seem to escape. Also, my favorite team from Puerto Rico now seems to have a very similar logo and jersey design as the Dodgers, so I don't see myself escaping it anytime soon.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, it's definitely not the truth, but yeah, that's tough.
Right.
That's tough stuff.
For sure. Elizabeth says wearing LA stuff on company times. Thank you, Elizabeth. Ski. I appreciate that. She also asks where the teal beard is, and I'm going to give you an update on the teal beard at the end of this episode, so make sure to not miss that. But of course, first, we did want to talk about Torey Lovullo providing us an update on the at-bat there that occurred in last night's game. Like I said, It's as much as we want to blame the loss on the egregious pinch hit situation where Tyler Locklear came into the game to pinch hit instead of Adrian Del Castillo. Torey Lovullo did share some insight, at least as to what he was thinking, and that was the fact that apparently Shelby Miller has better splits against left-handed pitching with his splitter than he does against right-handed pitching with his splitter. But the splitter wasn't really working for Shelby Miller last night. It didn't seem like he needed the splitter. He was dotting his four seam wherever he wanted to, and he was making batters look silly. So even though maybe that was the insight there, it still, I don't think, makes a lot of us really feel like that was still the right decision, especially with the game on the line as it was. But the true question here is Tyler Locklear the future at first base for this team? I think that if the Diamondbacks believe so, if that's the route that they're going to pursue, then I guess we should see him starting at first base more and getting more playing time, not necessarily just coming in a pinch hit situation. I understand pinch hitting there based on the logic Torey provided, but I still didn't love it. If Locklear is the guy that you're trying to go for and give those big at bats, I mean, that was also part of the reason that Torey brought up as for Tyler Locklear. Then again, I don't really see that it was the right situation to bring him into, right? Like sometimes for a player's development, it's not great to bring him into the most high leverage situation that you could offensively at the plate and expect him to deliver for this team. Locklear struggled this year so far with the Diamondbacks. He slashed 188, 273, 275 slugging percentage for 548 OPS. He has 2 home runs this season and 3 RBI. So again, Locklear offensively doesn't seem to be the best answer for the Diamondbacks in the future at first base, but this year his fielding percentage isn't terrible. We've also seen him make some mistakes over there and not make some of the greatest plays. However, at times he's made some pretty good plays over there. Fleaball says Locklear gets all kinds of chances. Poor English got 2 games, and that was back to AAA. And that's a great point, because Tristan English is a guy that has actually had a decent season for the Arizona Diamondbacks when it comes to what he's done at a AAA level. And I don't necessarily think that, like you said, he deserved to be kind of cast aside so quickly without getting an opportunity. He played in 3 games and had 11 plate appearances this season, right? Or excuse me, 7 games with 23 plate appearances. I was looking at his Arizona Complex League numbers. But this season for the Aces, Tristan English has done a great job. He slashed 321, 367 with a 524 slug. He had an 891 OPS. He has 12 home runs and 70 RBI. And I feel like he kind of deserved, maybe, as you said there, I think he maybe deserved a little bit more playing time than you allowed. I also think that, if you're going to call up Jordan Lawlar, which we're going to talk about later in this episode, there's a lot of farm system talk in this episode. But if you are going to call up Jordan Lawlar in the future to have that competitive or competition over there at third base when Blaze is playing so well, then I feel like a similar situation should develop at first base. I don't know where that leaves Pavin Smith. I don't know where that leaves Adrian Del Castillo. I know that he is somebody that fans and such have wanted to also see at first base. I'm not sure how easy it is for ADC to switch over there. This isn't necessarily Moneyball as much as I would love for it to be. I would go nuts for a Moneyball situation right now with the Diamondbacks. But again, this is maybe not the best time to convert a catcher to a first baseman. However, much like that movie in that situation, he is a good hitter, and he's a much better hitter than I feel like the season he's having. He has been striking out a lot. But you do feel like with some time and some consistent at bats that ADC could be, productive for this team. It feel like it was just a short time ago that Blaze Alexander wasn't really productive offensively, and now he's killing it. He's killing it defensively, offensively, and like I said, if you're going to have a competition there for third base, Tristan English, I feel like deserves a shot there this season. He's had a good fielding percentage over there at first base. Has not made any mistakes, and quite frankly has some good numbers offensively. So the future of this team is from this farm system, and there are guys like Jordan Lawlar and Tristan English that it is getting to the point where if you aren't going to promote them, you have to start wondering where this is going for them, where this is going for their career. Are they ever going to see a major league level, and is it going to be with the Arizona Diamondbacks organization, right? Is it going to be with this big league club? As it stands, the future first base is wide open. So these guys have an amazing opportunity. However, if neither one of them kind of step up for it at a major league level, there are options. And again, there's options immediately. We discussed one of those options on yesterday's show. And one of those options would be Carlos Santana. No, not the guy, not the singer, not the guitarist, the guy that used to play for the Twins for a long time. And Carlos Santana was recently waived by the Cleveland Guardians, and that is because he's had himself a rough season. He hasn't been great offensively. I would say, for the last couple of years, but at least last season, he was able to put together close to a league average OPS at 749. But again, he's a guy that's kind of shined defensively. I believe he was, playing some DH, but overall, he's just kind of been a guy that's been a first baseman his entire career, slashing 225, 316, 333 for a 650 OPS. Mark R says you need power out of your first baseman. There's no first baseman in the farm system with power. It's a great point. I don't know if Carlos Santana has power left either. He does have 11 home runs and 52 RBI this season, but again, he was a name that we kind of discussed possibly being an option for the Diamondbacks this past offseason prior to going with Josh Naylor. He is 39 years old. So again, I'm not going to sit on this program with this face and this beard and ever cast stones at another guy for being old. However, I will say that, at this point, this might be a wrap on his career. And I apologize. I said longtime Minnesota Twin, longtime Cleveland Guardian is what I should say. He's been on that team so long that they had a different name at one point when he first joined this team. So again, though, a guy that the Diamondbacks might give an opportunity to that has been hit or miss with this team. In some cases, it's really been a hit. In some cases, it's been a miss. Shelby Miller, they gave him an opportunity. It was great, and Shelby Miller excelled with this team. And a couple of guys so far in the bullpen have taken an opportunity and kind of ran with it. I would love to see a consistent run. I know that like Nabil Krismat, for instance, hasn't had a great or hasn't had a ton of time playing, doesn't have a ton of innings pitched at a major league level this year, but he's done a great job and a few arms in the bullpen considering where they were when the Diamondbacks picked them up. Those guys have at least helped this team not be a complete and absolute disaster here after the trade deadline. But I don't know. I don't love the idea of Carlos Santana. I also don't hate the idea of doing it for the rest of this year. Like, I don't love the idea of bringing him in, but you're most likely have to sign him on a contract that's going to be, just beyond this next, month and a half of baseball. So probably not the best option. And I don't know. I know some people are going to be like, Derek, what are you doing? But maybe, just maybe, a reunion with Paul Goldschmidt this offseason might actually be the best option. I'm going to give you reasons why. Despite the fact I've said in the past, I do love Goldie. I do acknowledge what he's done for this franchise, and I would absolutely have him on an Arizona Diamondbacks, Mount Rushmore. And what I will say is that Goldschmidt still has it, even though he is older right now. And again, the Diamondbacks have a chance to maybe bring a guy back who had a huge impact on this franchise and possibly have him, finish up his career with this team. He's 37 right now. If the Diamondbacks were able to lock him into a 2-year deal, that would probably, be the rest of his career. And it would just be a great story, I feel like. This is going to be loser talk, so forgive me for sure. But I will say that if the Diamondbacks aren't competitive and the next 2 seasons are somewhat of a struggle as they kind of rebuild, it would still feel kind of nice to have a story like Paul Goldschmidt coming home and being a part of this franchise for the final years of his career. And he's still productive. I mean, he's slashing 284, 336, 430 with a 766 OPS. Yankees fans have been raving about his defense over there. And again, he has the power might not be there like it used to be, but he has 10 home runs and 42 RBI this season. And yeah, that's how I feel. I feel right now that would be a great story for this team. Fleaball asks, is Goldie a Hall of Famer? That's a great question, man. I don't know. I think that, obviously his 2022 season where he won the National League MVP, was an all-star. Like that's a big deal. It felt like he was always putting up those kind of numbers and performances for this franchise in his time here, but never got the recognition he deserved until he left the Diamondbacks. So I doubt it. I feel like that Paul Goldschmidt, unfortunately, falls right in there in the kind of Hall of Good, but not Hall of Fame. So but I will say that he probably means more to this franchise than he means to anybody else, and he means more to this, fan base than anybody else. So I think that not only does he have something left in the tank and can still play, so it's not just, you're just not doing it as like I guess a charity case to bring back somebody just to repay them for their time here. He is a good first baseman and still has something to offer. So if he could return and continue to put up these numbers, he would be better than most of the Diamondbacks options at first base. Not sure what it would cost you, but Goldschmidt has always been fairly reasonable. The actual Goldschmidt, not the other guy. And he is also a guy that, again, would just, I think, make a lot of us feel great. But I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to come here. Killer Rex says only boomers remember him, and that's once again showing how old Killer Rex himself is. Roger Beshens says, ask the Dbacks pitchers what hurt their arm. Some do it. I heard that the thing that hurt their arm was trying to throw the football slider, but it might have been because they were throwing it incorrectly. I'm not sure about that. And now Killer X just said Lyle Overbay after Goldie. So you guys can go after him instead of me now for a terrible Goldschmidt take. But I don't know, man. Is from your outside perspective there, Noah, is bringing back a guy like Paul Goldschmidt kind of silly? I mean, I gave you his numbers. I don't feel like his numbers are awful. It's definitely not a power hitting first baseman like your team really needs. But if this franchise remains at this level of competitiveness, let's say for the next 2 seasons, even if God hoping there's a 2027 season, then don't you feel like at least it would be nice to have somebody like that? Or again, am I just being, is this a fairy tale that I'm weaving here?
I think that if the team has any semblance of competitive edge to them, like if they're ready to go back to the playoffs and make a run, and they're not just like, okay, we're gonna like rebuild for a couple of years, I think that would be a really solid addition for sure. But if it's going to be a rebuild, just bringing him here, I don't really know what that does for you. He might just be like, this is just kind of like a bit of a homecoming. It's nice,
like a waste of his time, almost, where he could be on a team that is trying to win it. And even if he's not their everyday starting first baseman, he has the ability to contribute and be on a team that's going to be out there playing good baseball. So I guess from his perspective, I don't know why he would want to come here if that was the case. If it was a rebuild and you were just doing it because you wanted to do the 2-year Goldschmidt parade and have him go out there and wave his hand and have everybody clap for him and such. So
I saw that with Miguel Cabrera his last couple of years in Detroit, and it was like every time he came up to bat, you're like, kind of rather see some younger guys get these at bats. So it totally depends on what situation they're in. 100%.
Well, we are going to talk a lot about the farm system today, and including the fact that ESPN re-ranked all the farm systems in baseball, and the Arizona Diamondbacks got a little bit of a boost since the preseason. We talked about it with MLB.com. We're going to give you ESPN's take on it. We're also going to take a little trip down to the Snake Farm. We're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, Phoenix Raceway is holding championship weekend. It starts on Halloween, goes through November 2nd, and it is the best time to come out and watch NASCAR. And let me tell you, I just watched one of the most exciting races ever because my guy, Ryan Blaney, was in like 13th place with less than 10 laps to go in Daytona. And somehow, some way, the way that everything shook out, this man cruised right up to first place to win Daytona. And I don't think I've seen anything as exciting as that. And look at me, look how pumped I am about NASCAR. This happened because I came out to Phoenix Raceway, watched a race, got hooked, and also let my wife finally dig her claws into me when it came to her fandom of NASCAR. But you should come out because there is nothing like it. The roar of the engines, the smell of the tires, it's amazing. You also have yourself one of the best infield experiences with the Desert Diamond Casino infield experience. You can get up close in the garage, get pictures with the drivers, pictures with the cars, walk the track, catch the pre-race concert, and so much more. So do not miss out on the chance to witness NASCAR Championship Weekend in person, coming to Phoenix Raceway October 31st through November 2nd. Tickets for Sunday's Cup Series Championship race sell out every single year, so do not miss out. Do not wait. Get yours right now. And here's the kicker. NASCAR is taking Championship Weekend on the road starting in 2026, so this is your last chance to catch it in Phoenix for a while. Tickets, hospitality, and upgrades are still available. Get yours at the link in our show notes. And we love ourselves Rally House. I still don't have the jingle down, but once I do, I promise you I won't stop singing it. Rally House is the place to go to shop for all your local Arizona team gear. Do you need diapers with the Phoenix Suns logo on it? They got you covered. Do you need wet wipes? Do you need sunscreen with the Diamondbacks snake logo on it? They have you covered. It doesn't matter what you need for your game day needs. Jerseys, hats, shirts, doesn't matter. They have you covered. They have the best selection of drinkware, signage, coolers, and socks. And best part is they only carry Arizona sports teams. Find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at rallyhouse.com today. Well, the farm system is producing some quality talent. It's just sparse, and the Diamondbacks don't have a lot of guys in the top 100 prospect rankings for all of MLB. In fact, they only have two names. One of those is Jordan Lawlar. The other name is Ryan Waldschmidt, and those are two guys that are killing it. We're going to take a quick trip down to Snake Farm and check in on how these guys are doing because, man, can't say enough about Ryan Waldschmidt. We were talking about Goldschmidt. Well, Waldschmidt could be the Goldie of the future for us. This guy having himself an incredible season. He was the 31st pick from the 2024 draft. I believe that's the competitive balance A, or the in-between pick, the compensatory pick from the 2024 draft. He's hitting .372 with a .500 on-base percentage this month. He has 4 doubles, a triple, 5 home runs, 17 RBI, 17 walks, 12 strikeouts, and 9 stolen bases. Just hit his 7th AA home run for the Amarillo, seven up to 7 home runs. And he is ranked 69th on the MLB top 100 pipeline. I can say nice to that. Nice. I wouldn't say nice last night to the Diamondbacks losing record of 69 losses, but I will say nice to him being ranked 69th. Meanwhile, Jordan Lawlar, the other guy on that list, I mean, I don't know what to say about Lawlar here. Lawlar continues to hit. He continues to be a consistent player for the AAA Reno Aces. He's slashing .318, .406, .573 with a .979 OPS. He has 11 home runs, 50 RBIs. And again, I don't know what Jordan Lawlar is anymore. I don't know, what to expect out of him. I mean, for all intents and purposes, we've heard that he will get an opportunity to be called up this season and will get an opportunity to play. I just don't know where, and I don't know exactly how that's going to shake out. He is ranked 23rd in the top 100 prospects list by Major League Baseball. He was 6 for 18 in this last week with an .817 OPS and 3 RBI. Will we see him play at a major league level? Yes, probably. Where will Blaze play? And does that really even factor in, right? Like, Blaze has been awesome this month, and I don't really think he deserves to miss any playing time, in fact. So that's kind of the downside there to Jordan Lawlar getting playing time, is where are other guys going to get playing time? Again, they have him all over the infield. There's a chance he would play third. There's a chance he could relieve Cattell and play second. Maybe we see Cattell DH, Jordan Lawlar play second, and Blaze play third, and Geraldo at shortstop. Maybe that's the winning formula. I don't know, but I would love to see Jordan Lawlar finally have some success at a major league level and be able to hit a breaking ball successfully, especially at a major league level. Meanwhile, Daniel Eagen is him. He is him. He might be who we have been waiting for a long time. The 2024 third rounder is up to 140 strikeouts this season in 105 1/3 innings pitched. That is time with both the Hillsboro Hops and now the Amarillo Sod Poodles, which he just made his debut the other day for the Sod Poodles. He went 7 2/3 innings in his debut, allowing 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Noah, again, not to I guess make excuses or try to embellish this in a way where it sounds like more of an accomplishment, but this is the PC, or not the PCL, but this is Amarillo. And Amarillo, the ball tends to fly. They tend to have some good offenses there at a AA level. So you tend to see, especially sod poodles pitchers, not typically put up great numbers. And again, it can be a bit deceiving. Same thing with the Reno Aces as far as those numbers are concerned. But Eagen has been putting up some numbers very similar to Brandon Pfaadt, who was an absolute beast when he was in the minor league system. Elizabeth is saying Jordan Lawlar is spelled wrong, and that one is on Noah. Noah, that's strike one.
Yep.
Zabe will not let you get away with stuff, and I'm surprised because I feel like Piece of Yoshi would normally be like summoned here by a graphic having some sort of error on it. So, but again, Eagen, when you talk about comparing him to Brandon Pfaadt in the minors, it's a pretty good comparison, and that means that guy is on his way. I don't have a lot of hope for a lot of pitchers in the Diamondbacks minor league system, and that includes some of those arms that are returning from Tommy John surgery midpoint of 2026. I just really don't know what the Diamondbacks are going to do for depth as far as that is concerned. Again, ESPN went out and updated their rankings, and they have the Diamondbacks farm system ranked as the 13th best farm system in baseball. That is up from their preseason ranking of 25th. Now, we knew that at the beginning of the season that their minor league depth wasn't great, but there was a point where it was far worse than it was at the beginning of the season, when guys like Blake Walston, who did go down at the beginning of the year, and then Tommy Henry later went down to a similar injury, not to mention Christian Mena and other names that have been lost due to injury. This farm system probably ranked lower than 25th. If you would have taken its pulse in May, it probably would have been close to dead last in baseball. So again, you have to very much applaud Mike Hazen for what he was able to do. Now, this is just the farm system, so don't applaud him too loud, maybe like a little golf clap, because it still remains to see if these players work out. However, and I know some of them have struggled. I know some fans are already ready to DFA Andrew Hoffman and Juan Burgos, but those guys have been put into unfairly high leverage situations already at a very, very early point in their career. To Burgos' credit, aside from his flame out in his last outing, he was actually pretty good for this team. I think 5 innings of relief didn't allow a single earned run. But the trade deadline acquisition of Tyler Locklear, Cole Drake, Brandon Garcia, Mitch Bratt, Juan Burgos, Ashton Izzy, David Hageman, and Andrew Hoffman, they all rank at a 40 future value or better. So future value when looking at prospects is similar to that 20 to 80 grading scale a little bit, but it's a little bit smaller from my understanding. Typically, a future value of like 65 or higher means you are insane. You're going to be a superstar, and there's no doubt in most scouts' minds that you are going to go on to great things in Major League Baseball. Then you come down to like more of like a 50 future value, which means that you are a top prospect. You're going to be landing on that top 100 prospect list. Again, here, the Diamondbacks added that many players of a 40 future value or higher, which is, again, very good considering, right? The pieces that they lost, pretty much with the exception there of everybody was on expiring contracts. So the Diamondbacks just went out and were able to do this and improve their farm system as much as they did on a season where it most likely would have been lost as it is. This also kind of adds to Waldschmidt. Slade Caldwell is another name that has been coveted very highly, as well as second baseman J.D. Dix. They've all been guys that have elevated their stock and have looked very good, right? Like I said earlier, though, the idea of a prospect here is that they are a prospect. We have no idea what to expect out of them realistically at a major league level, and that's why the Jordan Lawlar problem is kind of a problem right now. He is just so good as a prospect. He is a 4A player, but again, they also need him at this point to start proving he has value at a major league level. And this is pretty much going to be the time for them to do that. I guess this is going to be their opportunity to try to lean on him and have him come up and for at least the last month of the season, most likely, see if he can develop here at a major league level. But the Diamondbacks still have some depth. They are tied for third in quality depth, and there's a lot of talent that should be showing up in the big leagues next season. The Diamondbacks are going to need that talent. That 2026 season is an absolute mess. We're going to look again at the schedule here on the other side of the break, but there is no soft landing for the Dbacks in April. In fact, with the MLB season starting earlier than it ever has, we are in for an interesting season with a lot of opportunities for guys in the minor league system to prove themselves and earn playing time at a major league level. So luckily, the Diamondbacks have done a good job. Mike Hazen, the front office, they did a good job at coming up here and improving the farm system. Zabe says, who's wanting to DFA Superbad? I'll fight them. And yes, I will also fight them for that. Eric wants to know, do they call him Superbad because he looks like young Jonah Hill? I could see the comparison. Eric, yes, I'll take it a step further. We call him Superbad on this program because not only does he look like a young Jonah Hill, but he sounds like a young Michael Cera. So he's the tandem. He's the duo from Superbad in one delightfully good pitching body, I guess I could say. Again, though, I think Burgos and Hoffman are very bright futures for this team. They have very bright futures for this team. I just think that because they could pitch and because when called upon as young men, they answered the call Torey Lovullo put before them and came out and had some success, Lovullo and his coaching staff leaned entirely too much on them. And it's with good reason. They don't have many arms in their bullpen right now, and most of those arms are not great options in a lot of scenarios. So I give credit to Hoffman and Burgos for looking good enough at times that they got themselves put into those high leverage situations, but I don't think that they're there yet. I do think they'll be there very soon, though. And again, that's another encouraging part about the additions, is that some of those additions made here by Mike Hazen, like Tyler Locklear, Juan Burgos, Hoffman, and Brandon Garcia are looking like they're going to pay off for this team at a major level soon. Meanwhile, Scott is ready to DFA Tyler Locklear, so that's how quickly things can bounce around here. We're not doing that, Scott. We're going to give him a chance. But yeah, maybe demote him. All right, maybe demoting him. I might be on board with that. But what we are going to talk about the Diamondbacks 2026 schedule a little bit more on the other side of this break. But more importantly, which cities can we add so that me, Damon, and Noah can go take road trips and have a fun time in? We want to add party cities to Major League Baseball. So we're going to talk about that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, our friends at All Pro Shade Concepts want to help you extend your outdoor living space. And let me tell you, after these big storms that we've had here in town, there's a good chance you might have had some damage to your motorized awnings, maybe some old fixtures you had out extending your outdoor living spaces. Tell you what, check out All Pro Shade Concepts. They can help you update most old or outdated patio shades and awnings, or they can just hook you up with a brand new custom awning that looks great with your home. And compliance with your HOA. They can also add roll-down patio shades that can help make your patio up to 20 degrees cooler and block out 95% of those harmful UV rays. So don't miss out on extending your outdoor living space, especially as things get cooler. It's not going to get cooler fast, but we can get outside sooner with All Pro Shade Concepts. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, so give them a call at 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com right now to schedule your free estimate. And look, if you are looking for a checking account, we all are looking for a good place to put our money. Mountain America Credit could be that place for you. They opened in the 1930s and have been around since then, almost 100 years under their belt. They have hundreds of branches across Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Montana, and Nevada. And they have 1.2 million members. And those members love the My Style checking account. Everyone needs a checking account. My Style is for your style. Get the Mountain America My Style checking account that has perks just for you, including restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, identity protection, telehealth access, and so much more. You can get discounted loan rates as well as discounts on travel and events. through your My Lifestyle or My Style checking account. So make My Style for your lifestyle. Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Insured by NCUA. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions do apply. All right. Well, like we said, yesterday was the big schedule drop for Major League Baseball. It came pretty early in this season, and it really demonstrated that next season, MLB's the season is coming earlier than ever. Let's take a look here. The Diamondbacks dropped their schedule on social media. A lot of teams had little flair to it. I didn't hate that. The Diamondbacks kind of went simple. I don't mind the little like squiggly drawing on dates here. Some of those dates are like highlighting Mother's Day and also, the opening weekend. There's a division series rivalry thing, but the 2026 season technically opens on March 25th, and it is the earliest opening day in Major League Baseball history. I can tell you that because my birthday is on March 24th. And I have never, ever in the history of my life ever had opening day anywhere near my birthday. In fact, usually I'm getting drunk at a spring training game on my birthday. And it's not at Chase Field either. We're talking about spring training games still happening at like the spring training fields, which I imagine won't be happening on March 24th this year, which kind of makes me a little sad. But yeah, here we have this. That does exclude international one-offs and other special events. Also, if you weren't here for last night's show, we do have that little 2-game San Diego series happening at the end of April, the final weekend of April, that I still suspect is going to be the trip to Mexico City. I still think that those 2 games are going to be played in Mexico City. That was the game that was supposed to be played during the COVID season between the Diamondbacks and the Padres. And according to several sources, including The Athletic and Nick Picoro over at AZ Central, that has still been in talks as far as this season was concerned. But they do not have that up. Elizabeth says group trip to Mexico City. Who says no? Not me. You're getting me 100% on board with a group trip. We might have to do a takeover of Mexico City. We might have to do a PHNX takeover of Mexico City. That might have to be how things plan out. But the Dbacks 2026 schedule starts with a bang. It definitely does. They start off in LA against the Dodgers. Then they come home to take on this man's Detroit Tigers. I know he's very excited about that. Good times for you, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, always beginning of the season though, those games are always a bit of a toss-up.
Yeah, because you never. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Even if one team is better than the other, it really doesn't mean anything because it's just opening day and opening, week is so weird. But the Diamondbacks have a really tough stretch. Of course, they start off with those games in March, and then they start April with the finale against the Tigers. And then, I mean, again, even the Braves here don't really. They're not a bad team, and you don't know what the Braves are going to be next year. The Braves are always good. They've had a bad year this year, like the Diamondbacks have, but it feels like that's going to be a tough matchup. 4 games there at home against the Braves. Then they go on the road for 3 against the Mets, 3 against the Phillies, and then 3 against the Orioles. Then they come back home for 3 against the Blue Jays. I guess that series against the White Sox right there in the middle is like a little bit of a reprieve, but then they have that 2-game series in Mexico City potentially. And if that's the case, that's a lot of travel. That's a difficult travel, even though it's not very far here from Phoenix. It's still a difficult travel schedule. Also, those 2 off days around that weekend makes me suspicious that is the freaking Mexico City. Why would you have 2 off days around a 2-game set? Explain it. Doesn't make sense to me, Noah. I'm suspicious. And then they end the month against this same Brewers team that right now is kicking our butts. So again, not an easy month. And Diamondbacks, I mean, they get things get a little bit easier going forward in May. I mean, maybe they can get some wins, but it's a difficult month, difficult start to the season for a team that's already going to have a difficult year personnel-wise. So hopefully they can get something together between now and then. But soon, this is going to be even bigger. Soon, we're even going to have more teams to worry about. We've been talking about expansion realignment. But most importantly, we've been kind of glazing over the expansion part of the expansion realignment, which seems to be really gaining some steam. It's kind of funny because when I saw all of these baseball groups kind of forming in these different cities, all I could think about was the failure of them not getting a baseball team. Putting all of that effort, going and finding land and getting all of the permits and doing all of this stuff just for MLB to essentially award the team to a different city. But they have put together, Fox Sports and some other publications have put together a list. We have an image here of the top potential expansion cities. Charlotte, North Carolina keeps coming up, as does Nashville, Tennessee, and does Portland, Oregon. But there's a few in here that are strange. Sacramento, California, hard pass. We're trying this right now, and it's a failure. It's an experiment gone wrong right before our very eyes. So I don't have any idea why would we even throw that out there. And then Oakland, we're going to take the A's away from them and then give them an expansion team. We're going to do to them what we did to like the Cleveland Browns. We're going to take the Ravens away from them, put them in Baltimore, and then give them a fake expansion team and let them call it the Browns. What are they going to do? Call it the Athletics, and then we're going to call the other team something different? That's dumb. Not to mention the fact that the history stays with that team. At least in the Browns case, it was a garbage franchise that didn't win anything. The Athletics are a team with history and championships and a movie about them winning 20 games in a row. What are we even freaking doing here if we're going to give Oakland an expansion team? Make them stay there. Make them go back. That seems like an easy fix. And then just move Sacramento off of this list. Yeah. Salt Lake City, I don't want you to have anything as long as time exists. As long as I'm alive, I don't want Salt Lake City to get another franchise until the day I die. Montreal, Quebec, Canada, I don't hate that. But again, it's only because we have one team in Canada. And it doesn't make sense to just have one team. Like they need a rival. They need a buddy. You can't just get one dog. You need to get another dog. You can't have just one team in a different country. They need or the Mexico City could be the antithesis to theirs, like the Southern, and then they could be rivals, the international rivals against each other.
True. I don't know. Montreal, though, didn't they have the
Expos?
Expos.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good
the
franchise.
potential cities are always going to be cities that one time had a team.
Yep.
Because MLB always has this desire to repay those cities for stealing their teams away and moving them. But I don't know, man. I mean, I guess it worked out for Seattle with the Pilots, but it didn't. I don't know. I just don't know. I know Oakland fans would just absolutely reject an expansion team. They would be happy they're getting baseball back, but they would reject an expansion team. Meanwhile, Charlotte, it doesn't move the needle too much for me. Nashville, like, give me Nashville.
Yes.
Give me Nashville 100%. Like, people in Tennessee are crazy sports fans. They don't have enough sports as it stands.
Yep.
They support the Predators in amazing fashion in NHL. And quite frankly, I just want to go to Nashville. I want to go party.
And they support their college baseball teams.
Yeah,
crazy. And they're all good.
Absolutely.
The baseball love in Tennessee is huge. And the fact that they don't have a team already, it's just always kind of boggled my mind.
Right. Like for me on this list, Nashville and Portland make the most sense.
Yeah.
Right. Because you already have a team in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle that really doesn't have much near it. The Minnesota Twins, I guess. But I mean, this would at least geographically make sense and put some more teams along the West Coast that would align with where the teams currently are positioned. Nashville makes sense, again, for a similar reason as to where it's positioned. Canada, I mean, just doing things for teams that used to have a team, I don't think that's the best idea. Screw Texas. They already have two teams. Why would they get another team? Why are we giving Texas 3-4 teams? Why are we giving California 5-6 teams? What are we doing? There's other states that want baseball in them. Let's move this product around the country so that it's not just gathered in certain areas and you can actually have fans traveling to those areas. But yeah, I completely agree about Mexico City being too far. It's just, I feel like unless you go someplace very close on the other side of the border, like, and none of those cities are necessarily going to be big enough to have a Major League Baseball team, you're going to have to go through Mexico City anyway for flights, because that's kind of how Mexico works. It feels like every flight from the United States kind of has to like hub to Mexico City and then go from there. So I don't know though. Montreal is not, I don't want Montreal. I also don't really want Charlotte. I don't know. No knock to the fine folks of Charlotte.
It's just
Have you ever in your life one time found yourself going like, I want to go to Charlotte, North Carolina?
no, never. Sorry, people from Charlotte, but
I
it's
mean,
just
this is not a personal attack on you and your choices. I'm sure your city is lovely. You have beaches and stuff there, right? Like they do have beaches in North Carolina.
yeah,
Right.
they do.
Yeah, I mean,
They have a great coastline.
We are a bunch of beachless bums over here in Arizona, so we have no reason to be attacking you for your beautiful beaches and things to do in your town. But again, I don't know. I still feel like Nashville and Portland make the most sense, and those are the cities, if you're asking me, I would want to go to as a fan. Like that's where I would want to travel and go watch an away series for the Diamondbacks. Scott says Charlotte is clean, safe, and sexy. Hey, I don't hate that. I don't hate, especially the sexy part. But I felt very similar when I went to San Jose for the first time. San Jose was actually quite beautiful and had good public transportation and everything was close and there was stuff to eat and I enjoyed myself. It went to bed. It was like one of those cities that went to bed really early. Like we were like right in the mix of things in downtown and I felt like everything closed at 8 p.m. and that was crazy. But had a great time there for WrestleMania. And again, I'm sure I have shirts from that too, like this one. It's a Raw shirt. Please don't attack me for it being a Los Angeles shirt. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we're going to do the crazy thing that I do around here, which is obsess over our exes. It's another edition of Spying on Our Exes. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Well, it's always a great time for Pure Edibles, and now, as always, is a great time to go out and get yourself some Pure Edibles, especially while watching the Diamondbacks play the Brewers, because the bullpen is not set up for success for these next two games, and I think they're going to hurt. So go get yourself some Pure Edibles, maybe a mood-elevating gummy, or perhaps a sleep edition gummy that'll help you sleep after watching tonight's game. It's a great opportunity to try out the full line of candies that Pure Edibles has to offer, and that's because they are a full-fledged candy company offering more than just gummies. They have their hard candies, chews, and their kicks, which are like their version of Star Wars. So check out their full line of candies and their full line of, experiences there that you can have. They have a wide variety of uplifting effects as well as sleep support, and you'll know exactly what effects to expect based on those being listed on each tin very clearly. Pure was created in Flagstaff, Arizona at Noble Herb Dispensary, the home of Pure Edibles, and now they're made right here in Phoenix, Arizona. They're designed to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. So go find yourself some Pure Edibles from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Tonight might be a great opportunity to hedge your bets emotionally on the Arizona Diamondbacks, because remember, just because the team loses doesn't mean you have to. So get down on Bet365. If you decide to do it late, you can get in on the live in-game betting. Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting, and they offer the widest range of games and markets available across 78 sports for live in-game betting. Get down on the early payout offer for Major League Baseball, where you're a winner if your team goes ahead by 5 runs, with an instant payout offer on straight bets and parlay selections, which will be marked as winners. Download the app and use that code of PHNX365 when you sign up. New customers right now will get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use that code of PHNX365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to receive $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text Next Step to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Well, Noah, I didn't get your full take on the possible expansion cities. Where would you like to see, especially considering some of those cities might impact your division if they have to realign those divisions?
I mean, I've always been on the Nashville train.
Yeah.
It's always been my main go-to. I've been there multiple times. I've seen their sports culture. I know people that play baseball, that love baseball, that live there, and they want nothing more than to have an MLB team. So
and Portland, I still think Portland,
yeah,
I don't know. I saw the plans for Portland. There were people complaining about where the stadium would be located and all this kind of stuff. But it's but you have land and places to put it. And their big complaint is there's nothing over there. It's yeah. Have you not been to most stadiums lately? the ballpark at Arlington and where the Texas Rangers currently play at Globe Life Field, like there's stuff around there, kinda. I mean, there's a Six Flags kinda near there, but it's not near Dallas. Like if you think it's just on the outskirts of Dallas, you're wrong. If you stay in downtown Phoenix and you're here for an Arizona Cardinals game, you have made a huge mistake.
Right.
You are nowhere close to where that stadium is located. By the time you drive out to Glendale, you're going to pay probably a good $40, $50 and a lift, one way there. So,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it tends to be the way. And if the biggest problem is that the big chunk of land you have to build a stadium isn't exactly, like it doesn't travel well and there's not like public transit to get there. It's like, well, once that exists, then the other stuff will come.
Yeah.
Businesses will be built around there, homes will be built around it, and then there will be transit that's put out that way.
Build it and they will come.
Build it and they will come. That's a rap song, right? Something like that.
I don't know. It's a quote from something.
It's a quote from something.
I can tell you that much.
Terrible movie. I don't know for sure, but I don't know if I can say that to baseball fans. They might come for me, just like they came for me for my Goldschmidt takes. But we are going to do what we do every once in a while. Get a little crazy, get a little psycho. We might have a glass of wine, and we like to spy on our exes. So it's another edition of Spying on Our Exes. Christian Walker for the Houston Astros is possibly the only thing winning baseball games for that team. He slashed 318, 367, 466 in July after having a really slow start this year. There were times where we were kind of poking fun at him, and especially with Josh Naylor and the way he was hitting. There were a lot of non-regrets on letting Christian Walker walk, but you see those numbers and you don't hate what Christian Walker has done in the month of July. He had 3 home runs and 18 RBI. In August, he has an 825 OPS. He has 6 home runs this month, 17 RBI. And he's just kind of been a bright spot there for Houston Astros team that's been fairly decimated by injury to help them win games. But the competition is pretty strong there. Speaking of which, I think Nathan Eovaldi might be done for the season for the Rangers. So Merrill Kelly, he is a huge addition for that Rangers team at this point. I'm sure they're very glad that they made the trade to bring Merrill, the mainstay, over there. Let's see. Mark says Jeremy Pena is winning games for the Astros. You're absolutely right about that as well. That's another guy that's been absolutely outstanding for that Astros team. Meanwhile, the 2 guys that we traded away to Seattle, they're doing all right, but I mean, at least they're not putting up the same numbers that they were putting up here. Josh Naylor, since becoming a Mariner, is slashing 265, 312, 461 with a 773 OPS. Most importantly, he has become one of the most prolific base stealers in all of baseball. Josh Naylor has 22 stolen bases this year. He had 11 with the Arizona Diamondbacks, but he already has 11 as a member of the Seattle Mariners, which is just insane. It honestly, Noah, it was one of those things that was just kind of funny. Like, Josh Naylor, he's kind of a big guy. He's stealing bases. And then he like does it 2 or 3 times. And then it's like, it gets funnier. And then all of a sudden there's a point where you're like, it's not really funny anymore as much as it's just something that he does.
Yeah. You would never expect it just looking at Josh Naylor being like, oh yeah, that guy has 22 stolen bases?
22 stolen bases this season.
Kind of nuts.
Yeah, it's insane. So again, there's just something to be said. I mean, the league leader in stolen bases is Jose Caballero with 41 stolen bases. You got Chandler Simpson, Jose Ramirez, Bobby Witt Jr., O'Neal Cruz, Luis Robert Jr., and Trey Turner, Pete Crow Armstrong, Ellie De La Cruz, Victor Scott, Fernando Tatis Jr. But then you come up on Geraldo Perdomo and then Josh Naylor, and not exactly the name you would expect to see in there with Jazz Chisholm. He's tied with Bryce Terang and Jazz Chisholm at 22 stolen bases this year. So, and Mark R says, I wish Corbin was on that list so much, but I still remember Corbin's kind of hilarious answer to that. When Corbin was asked why he wasn't stealing more bases, he was basically like, yeah, I'm hitting dingers and triples now, so not a lot of opportunities to steal base. I don't really get on first a lot anymore. It's like not very common for me, So, and he's not wrong. He has been hitting a lot. But Josh Naylor, tip of the cap, man, for what you continue to do as a member of the Mariners. Meanwhile, and I know you guys are gonna, at least one guy's gonna hate it, but Gino Suarez continues to do things for the Mariners, but not good things. I mean, honestly, Gino continues to struggle. It's beyond just the small sample size now. Gino's slashing 174, 250, 395 with a 645 OPS. He has 5 home runs. He has 14 RBI. And yes, he did it. He hit home run number 40. And in fact, he's up to home run number 41. So as far as the beard bet goes, I will honor my word. And it's not, honestly, because of any of you. It's because of Blaze Alexander and his kidnapping of my goddamn snake. I am furious. I normally do not negotiate with kidnappers of the sort. I don't want to have to dye my beard based on Blaze demanding it of me. But I will say that at 10:07 a.m. on Wednesday, August 27th, I purchased a container of teal dye from Amazon.com that will be on its way tomorrow. Or not on its way tomorrow. It will be here tomorrow. So, yes, Ryan, Baja Blast Derek is on his way for sure. And I mean, I kind of wish I had the purple hair still to go along with it. Like midnight Baja Blast hair to go with the regular Baja Blast beard. Electric. It would look great in the Serpientes jersey, let me tell you. Also, thanks for making me look like fools, you guys. I mean, again, you, Blaze Alexander, collectively. I still don't think I should have to honor this bet. Noah, as a third party that was not here when the bet was made, I made this bet about a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks team. And then when asked if I would change the bet if, Gino got traded, I said, absolutely. I said, if he's not a member of the team anymore, I have no reason to honor the bet. And yet here we are, and I have no choice because Blaze kidnapped my son, and now I have to give him a bag of Sour Patch Kids and my beard, basically. This is like when Jimmy Pesto took Bob's mustache on Bob's Burgers, right? Like, yeah, this is a crime.
I mean,
I'm furious.
That's tough. So you did have a disclaimer that if he wasn't on the team,
once the bet was made, we advanced to a stage where people were like, what happens if Gino gets traded? And it was likely that Gino was going to get traded if the Diamondbacks didn't do well, which they weren't doing well early on. They had a really rough May.
Right.
So when May was coming around, there was already talk about who was going to get traded, especially the guys on expiring contracts. They seemed likely. And Gino was a name that was brought up. That is when the disclaimer was added. Well before the trade was made, well before we even approached the deadline, I had said, if Gino gets traded, this part of the deal is null and void. And Elizabeth says that was not part of the original bet. I acknowledge that, Elizabeth. I feel like people that watch the show don't listen to the words that come out of my mouth. Maybe that's because I'm just a funny clown up here, waving my arms around and telling jokes all the time. But there was discretion. There was disclaimers. There were asterisks added to the bet.
I think the disclaimer would have had to come at the original point. Noah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Too? It's like you get the genie and you get 3 wishes. You got to be super specific. If you ask for $1 million and it just falls on top of you and you die,
genies are awful about that. They're like it's always one of those like twist endings, like in M. Night Shyamalan movie with those goddamn things. Okay, well, Tealbeard's on its way. Mostly because I'll do anything for Jesse Jr. I would die for Jesse Jr. So it's something that needs to happen, but that's going to happen this weekend. Is it going to happen on a live show? No. Is it going to be filmed? I don't know. Maybe not. I do have some pride. Not much left, but a little bit of it. So maybe I won't film it. Maybe I will. We'll see. But regardless, there's a good chance when the boys come back in town, I will fulfill my end of this negotiation, if you will, and do everything I can to get Jesse Jr. back in this office. So, and Ryan said you would die for Jesse Jr. You're goddamn right. I'm going to die for Jesse Jr. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So thank you, Ryan. Thank all of you for being here. We appreciate you guys for stopping by. And yes, I am a coward that didn't want to do a post-game show after tonight's game because I'm scared about what's going to happen here. Hopefully the Diamondbacks prove me wrong and pull out a win because they need it. I'm not going to say any series is a must-win from this point on because That's silly to say, but it would be nice to see them turn this thing around and split the series with the Brewers. We'll be back tomorrow with another post-game show, so make sure to join us for that. That's an early game. We'll be doing that before we head over to the PHNX Cardinals residency. Until then, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at Cap_caveman with a K. Noah does not want you to follow him, so he refuses to give you his handle. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you so much for stopping by. We will see you tomorrow with another post-game show. Until then, behave yourselves. Have a wonderful evening. Try to not bug me about dyeing my beard because it's a very sensitive topic. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when your farm system gives you hope.
We all silly like the mayor.